So find a place where your physical body is comfortable, held in a position that is good for it. Our physical bodies are often really on alert because they have to move us everywhere. But for now, the body can just relax, be held, letting its circuitry systems and organs be refreshed as we sit in circle. As we gather in the sacred ground of sovereignty. We invite all of our teams from the unseen, our guides, our teachers, our loved ones, to be here with us. Again, gathering together for a purpose greater than we totally understand, but one with which we are aligned, which is bringing our energy fields throughout our entire 8 worlds, 64 dimensions, into harmony and resonance to our divine star family's agendas. Zero existence of outside domination in any form. And whatever it is that we individually and as a group can do in this moment of time as we are together, that's what we make ourselves available to. So we ask that the energy fields, the teams, and the protocols of the guardian circle surround us. Our teams of healing and protective of space be with us. We ask that our teams of guidance be close to us so that we understand and are clear with them. And within this circle, we meet, and those boundaries and priorities are set. And so it is. So we're going to put ourselves into the circle individually first, and then we'll go around and kind of do a concise check-in. So welcome everyone. Sharon Raji Maynard here, still on Whidbey Island. And I am going to bring generosity. Passing to Kelly.
Good afternoon, Kelly here in Portland, Oregon, and I am going to bring in the element of trust. And Audrey, I will tag you.
Hi, I'm Audrey, and I'm in Wyoming, Pennsylvania, and I bring in integrity. And I tag Emma.
Hi, everybody. Emma in Williamstown, Massachusetts. And I would bring in integration and patience. I will tag Cinda.
Cinda in Westland, Oregon, and I'd like to bring in gratitude. Sue.
I'm Sue. I'm in Issaquah, just outside of Seattle, Washington. I'm going to bring in flexibility and the willingness to reset as needed. Harley?
Hi, I'm Arlie. I'm in Eastbourne, New Zealand, and I would like to bring in peace and calm. And I will pick Spirit.
Hi, everybody. I am Spirit. I am in Somerset, New Jersey, and I bring mercy, compassion, and discernment. And I tag Angelique.
Thank you, Spirit. Thank you, everyone. Good to see you, everyone. I'm in the Netherlands, in Europe, and I bring in harmony. And I take sharing again. I guess everybody has been, no? Yeah, everybody has been. Okay.
Okay, so in addition to the vast field of intelligence that's here, just because we've brought amazing teams with us, we've also added generosity, trust, integrity, integration and patience, gratitude, flexibility and the willingness to reset, peace and calm, mercy, compassion and discernment, and harmony. So that's pretty good space we're in. So we want our team to keep us aligned to those qualities so that they can be expanded within us as we sit together. So let's go around and just in a concise way, if there is some situation you want to place in, something you'd like to say to us about yourself, if there, what we've I think the last circle, maybe two, we've also opened the space to put in names quietly. Let's not do the names right now. Let's just talk either something you would love us to hear about you and what's going on for you in a concise manner, or maybe some situation that you want to add a blessing or a dismantling. So let's start with Cinda.
Today was my first day of my first session of my 7 days of grace that I've created. And today I walked my clients through day one, and it was so beautiful. And I'm really looking forward to the other 6 days of grace with them. And then after those 7 days are over, I start a second session. So second session of 7 days of grace, and I'm just going to leapfrog every 7 weeks. So I'm really looking forward to that. And I had a simple procedure done last Tuesday in the hospital, and got sick while I was there. And it went into my sinuses and into my chest, and I was so pissed. I was so pissed that I was put in that space of vulnerability where I could actually catch something. And I got progressively worse and worse and worse after I got home. And then I remembered Sharon's protocol. Are you of my light? And I heard no. And I said, I am a sovereign being. Only that which is in alignment with me can stay, and that which is not is required to leave. And so it is. And I got well just like that. I am not kidding. I was up all night hacking and coughing and miserable on Friday night. On Saturday morning, I woke up. I'm on the end of my bed, tears running down my face because it hurt so bad. And my husband's like, are you okay? Well, are you okay? And I'm like, oh my God. And then I remembered the protocol. I did it. And I mean, it's just immediately went into reverse. So I just have tiny little residual symptoms right now. It was spectacular. So Sharon, again, thank you. So I will call on Spirit.
Thank you, Cinder, and thank you for sharing your story, and congratulations on the 7 days. What am I going to bring? Trust in my guides, trust in my divine team. I came into the spiritual game late in life, but that divine guidance has always been there that I never trusted. Not only being in a female bodysuit, but being a Black woman in a female bodysuit, that is a double whammy on why I've been told on so many even cute levels not to trust, you're not right. So just walking my path, using so many divine tools and guidance, and not only just using tools, healing myself, that is also making the divine noise come in more pure and sharp, like a double-edged sword. And just trusting that, because especially that we are all here to get these parasitics off the planet, use my tools to use my voice to get them off, not looking for anyone else to validate what I see, because we all have our divine team and there's other people looking for us. The more we shine our life and use that voice, we are actually unconsciously liberating others. So, and I know I'm here to fulfill my mission. Thank you so much, Sharon, of helping me accelerate this journey and to have this stuff that is hidden out there to help me develop this even more and to walk more grounded in this voice of authority. And I tag Arlie, I am complete.
I'm starting a new project here. The sun is so intense here in New Zealand in the summertime. We're under part of the ozone hole, although not a huge, horrible one. So basically, I can't use my backyard, and I've just started designing and designing to be built a backyard structure that I'm so excited about. I can't see straight. It's going to be this wrought iron thing that will have plants and roses and jasmine growing up it to provide the shade. And I think it's going to be beautiful. I think it's going to smell lovely. It's going to give me ownership over backyard outdoor space in the summertime, and I'm pretty excited. It's been 5 years since I found a design that feels right and that will work. It's not that we haven't had, resources and time and all that, just nothing was like, yeah, this is the one. And it's here now, so I'm pretty happy about that. And I'd like to bring that joy of creativity. And I'd like to call on Emma.
So last week I had a tag session with Sharon, which was very powerful. And then on Friday I had I don't know if you guys know QHHT, it's a hypnosis form. And I had a session on Friday, which took me way past Earth into other realms. And so essentially I've been awake for 2 to 3 hour batches and then sleeping. And I am patiently integrating all of the information and material. And every time I try to step into my practical project-based mind, I just stare at the screen until I go sit in my comfortable chair and dream and start dreaming again. So I'm in a good space. I'm curious to see how this emerges. It's 2 weeks before my move starts to really get serious into my new place. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm appreciating what I have here. I'm looking at the backyard, which I won't have in the new place. But also I know that it's going to bring a whole nother level of possibility for my life. So I'm feeling very blessed and peaceful. And I call on Kelly.
There it goes. Okay. Thank you. I just thank you, Spirit, for showing up looking like this, because I just love it, because I have been in this Egyptian energy. And when I saw you this morning, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, thank you. That's the trust. That's why when it's like, I've been seeing this Egyptian energy, and you emulated that affirmation for me. So thank you very much. And on that theme of trust, just I think we're all on this journey of learning, right? How we decipher and bring in and whatever that is. And so I'm learning to fully lean further and further and deeper into that trust. And last night I was in a very interesting dream, and that's where I'm focused today. And that is that I was very methodically, very clearly packing my car up with food for my dog, water, a sleeping bag, and a go bag by my door. And from there, they just took me on a journey. I was grabbed by the sirens and I was pulled into the waters of the Pacifics. So I don't know what that means. I just know that I trust that I will do as I was shown, that I will have food in my car for my dog. I'm not worried about me, I'm worried about my dog. It's no food for Kelly, just food for the dog. But it was very clear and precise. And whether or not energetically, it just whatever it is. So I just am leaning into that trust, and also leaning into where I need to go today, perhaps being the Pacific Ocean through the lens of the sirens. So. And I will tag Sue. Thank you.
Before Sue, before you share, I just wanted to say welcome, Deborah. And what we're doing right now is each of us are just sharing it very concisely, what we want to, what's been going on or what we want to add to the circle, just about our own experience. So that's kind of where we're at, Deborah. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Kelly. So there's been a couple of dreams where it was very, very clear I was being given a message. And one was that it's like it's my soul or my higher self, what do you want to call it? And the love was so amazing. And it was that part of me is going to be patient, and it takes what it takes to overcome the fear, trust, and surrender. I had two of those. Then, about the same time, I went into someone's meditation who was in a whole lot of fear about vaccinations and people who've been vaccinated. And I just allowed myself to feel their fear with no judgment and not claiming any of it for myself. And it took me into my fear, and it broke the spell of the power of fear it has had over me. Then yesterday, out of the blue, my sister says, "How's your anxiety?" And it was a shock that she asked. I don't even remember telling her or discussing it. Then I was sitting in a Zoom meeting and somebody said something and it triggered, and all these abusive experiences passed through my mind like a ticker tape reading. It just was, and I made the decision to just let them go. I mean, it was like, anyway, and I made the decision to let them go. Then one is really hard to let go of, but I choose to let it go. And now I'm just trying to regroup, trying to reset, trying to catch up, because I can do things physically and mentally, but it doesn't mean emotionally I caught up with the things that I'm doing. So now it was a week at my daughter's, worked every day out on the property. And then I went to my son's and I was watering and taking care of chickens and the cat. The cat was a pest. Oh, I'm so tired. But all I know is right now I'm in the middle of things changing. Just don't know what it means. So I'm in flux. And we always are. We always are. But sometimes it's really dramatic. And sometimes it's really subtle. And this one's really dramatic. And I'm just going to take it easy today. I'm just going to give myself a break and stop for a while and enjoy the calm and the silence that brings me peace. Is there anyone who hasn't shared yet? Okay, Audrey.
Oh, where do I start? So I retired from the school district as a speech therapist 3 years ago with early intervention. And I maintained friendships with two women. One was two teachers that I started out with. So we decided for the retirement, we would go to Asheville. So it was a bucket list thing. And there's so many different personalities between, like, the three of us are so different. But anyway, every spirit lined everything up just perfectly, even down to where we should eat the first day. Our GPS got routed to a totally different town. And in that town, the storekeepers knew of our area where we were from. And I mean, everything was just perfect, lined up beyond perfect. In fact, the one who's very black and white, she's like, how is this possible? And the other one said, well, it's Audrey, which I thought was kind of funny. And she's like, we got to talking. She's like, but I know stuff now. It's almost like she's an antenna. And I had a laugh because, it's the antenna thing. But it was just magical. And my heart was so full driving up that Blue Ridge Parkway. Like, it was so full. I was sending love because I was so full. I was crying in the beauty of it. And it was just wonderful and magical. And yeah, so that's where I was last week, and I loved it. And it just lined up beautifully. And thank you, Angelique.
Yeah, where I am at the moment is in sort of nowhere land. My mom just died at the 28th of June. And after that, I went into kind of a roller coaster, emotionally and physically. And past week, I have been in the northern part of my country where I visit the sacred stone sites and the forests whenever I feel the need to get deeper into the Mother Earth and to pray. And that was wonderful and beautiful. But in my family is so much going on. There's a lot of chaotic and stress and grief and pain from the past, and things coming up to the surface now. And I just ask for blessings for my family and light, really light. That's what is needed. I have decided to do a family constellation one of these days to see what happens underneath the surface and where these lines are up to. And I feel like this is really old stuff and there's some real deep darkness in it. And it's not my job to heal this. I feel that it's not my job because it's from another realm. It's from another realm. It seems for me it's real outsider energy where I'm being confronted with. And yeah, I can keep it out of myself, but it's very hard and it's very, very intense. So I feel incredibly tired physically from the past year, having been my mom's caretaker. But the process that she has gone over to the other side has been beautifully wonderful, healing in between the two of us. And over the last 2 weeks of her life in this earth plane, I just recognized her as my mom for the first time in my life, my real mom. So that was wonderful and beautiful and healing. And we had a beautiful conversation in spirit just before she went the night I was waking with her, and that was beautiful as well. And that's what we made. This circle has been made around, but by making this circle around, there has been how can I say that in English? Like an earthquake. Things have come to the surface because this part has been healed. The other parts, which were not visible yet, has become visible. So that's what's going on right now. And yeah, healing is needed. That's what that's where I am. So thank you. I think Deborah hasn't been yet. Is this? Yeah.
Thank you, Angelique. First, to Audrey, where do you live?
I live in Northeast Pennsylvania.
Okay, because I live in North Carolina. That's why I was asking when you went to Asheville.
Oh, nice.
And for those who don't know, the mountains in Asheville are the oldest mountains in the world. And so when you're there, divinity speaks very loudly up there. To me, anyway. I'll just say that. So my brother and his wife were just here, and it's the first time they've stayed with us at our house in North Carolina. And it was such a treat. It was 2 days, but it was very sweet, very nice. And we're getting ready. My husband and I have a really small RV, and we're getting ready to leave Friday for 3 weeks to go up to Massachusetts and Cape Cod and Connecticut and see his son and his family from San Francisco that we haven't seen in 2.5 years. So the kids are 2.5 years older and all taller than I am, I'm sure now. So that'll be fun. But it's just coming off of a lot of weeks of busyness and getting ready for more busyness, but it's all good. And I just want to share with people that after bringing to the circle last week, affordable housing, that the newspapers were totally full of Raleigh being the second or third most expensive place in the country, second or third hottest housing market on sales. And that the town of Cary, where I've been talking about, that the city is going to build more affordable housing units, 130 units, I think it is, right near where we were looking. So all of that has just filled the news since last Monday, which I thought was intriguing. So it's just been busy teaching and then having a bunch of people over for dinner and then my brother, and now we're getting ready to leave. So that's just where I am. Thanks.
Cinda, I think you're on. At least I don't have you marked off. Did you share already? I didn't mark you off my little calendar. Thank you. For me, this has been an interesting time to be shown some of the things that are opening as I begin to gather material for the tag course curriculum. So one of my clients, a man actually, whose wife had been having a difficulty for many, many years, and for not Alzheimer's, but definitely mental disruptions. And we knew that, and there was no way that she was capable of really, when you get mentally unstable or emotionally unstable, it's really almost impossible for you alone to hold to a protocol to come out on the other side. You're just kind of in the wind, you're in the whirl when you're alone. And I knew that even though she wanted some help, there wasn't anything I can do until we had a support system for her. So I just kept waiting for a support system, put out there for a support system. Finally, her husband contacted me and said, "Oh my gosh, I just drove my wife to an appointment. By the time we got to the appointment, she's out of her mind crazy. I am so unbalanced. I'm afraid to drive back home. Da, 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 da. So what do I do?" So I talked to him about guardian circles and deep six and PTO, and gave him some in the moment commands, which he totally understood. So he emailed me when he got back home and said, well, the drive home was so much better than the drive there. She calmed down. And I said, would you like me to do a session on her and put together a program that you can do, that you can hold in her behalf? And he said he would be glad to do that. So that was like on a Saturday evening. And so I'm waiting to hear back from him. And on, I think Monday or Tuesday, he called and he said, well, I don't know what, I'm really feeling great. I'm balanced, but my wife has so escalated. She has now been taken to a mental health clinic, a mental health ward. And I don't know, it didn't help her. And I said, you have to understand that the whole outcome is for her wellness. And she cannot, because of what's going on for her inside her brain, head, body, she needs a different kind of support system, which includes that. So yes, we are going forward. Yes, it is working. You're staying stable, you're staying neutral, you're taking charge, you're holding the space for you and her. But what's good, what's bad? She needs this kind of help, and she wouldn't put herself there. And I think that's what I'm real aware of right now, is that sometimes a journey goes downhill because it needs to get to a place where they hit to get the kind of help they need, you know. But you don't have to go downhill with them. You can still maintain the outcome for them, reality shift for them, the deep six for themselves and you, and be that kind of support, energizing the plan, and trust that the doors that are opening for them is for that outcome you're holding. So just again, the intensity of what's going on in the world. And some people are now holding on by fingernails, but they're reaching out and getting help. Those of us who've been holding onto the rope and gathering stuff, we're looking out and we can see new vistas, and everything is needed. So all of you are needed. Wherever you are, you're needed. So we're going to go around one more time with the opportunity to say, is there any person or persons that you want to place in this circle, so that the energy of the circle, the beings who are here in this circle, are given not just permission, but are decreed that they work specifically with the higher self of those individuals to do what that is being called for by the higher self, that you don't need to worry about. So, and you don't have to put their names in the circle. We'll just pass it around, and you can say, yes, I'm putting 2 people in, or no, I'm going to pass. And then we'll go into our journey. So is there anything you want to say before we do that part? Okay. So let's start. Arlie, I'm going to start with you. Okay, Arlie?
I'm going to put 2 people in the circle, and I will pass to Sue.
Thank you. I will put 1 person in the circle. And Angelique?
Thank you, Sue. I put 2 people in the circle. Thank you. And I go to Kelly.
I am going to take a pass at this moment. Audrey?
I'm going to put 2 people in the circle, please. Cinda?
I'll put 1 person in the circle, and Emma.
Thank you. I will put 2 people in the circle. And have you gone, Deborah?
I'd like to put 3 people in, and I'll pass to our Egyptian looking queen spirit.
Thank you, Deborah. I'm putting several people in a circle. I'm going to take advantage of this healing opportunity. And I think we all went. Thank you, Sharon.
Thank you. I'm going to put 7 people in the circle. Okay, here we are. And by the way, I love and I think I'm speaking for all of you, really. I love hearing where you're at and where, that little snippet of sharing just warms my heart. We just, we know each other better. That's always good. Okay, here we go. Placing those individuals that we have placed in the circle into whatever's highest and best for them with their teams, the sacred ground of sovereignty, and their higher self in charge. We gather for our individual journeys for our part of this hour circle work. We affirm that we are part of a plan to clear all outside domination energies, influences, forms from out of all time, space, reality dimensions. They are not allowed here. We do that in order to provide solid space for that which is our true nature of good: joy, generosity, curiosity, peace, leadership, love, and so much more. So we are each here, our team's part of that plan. They know where it is we can best work today. So we ask them to be close to each of us, show up in whatever form and with whatever agenda is ours to do. We know that they will get us to our place of impact safely and return us here to the circle equally safe. That our body will be rejuvenated and revitalized as we journey, and that the healings for our loved ones will be made possible as we are doing our work. Each of you find that group that's there for you today. Notice their forms, their names, if there are some. What is the path that they are going to take you on today? What will you pass? What will you see? What will you smell? So as you journey, if you want to turn off your cameras, you may. When you come back, make note. And as we journey, I'm going to stop the recording so you'll hear that voice, but just stay with your team. And we'll see you back when you're complete. Okay, how about we start with you, Sue? Is that okay?
Thank you, Sharon. So I didn't go anywhere. I didn't see much of anything, but I was in a very deep experience of unconditional love. And a few times I have seen what I call the general. And he's in a spaceship and he's at the controls. And he is in control of something, but I don't know what. And that's all I know about it. And then in one of our meditations, it felt like I connected to him, and it felt like home, and it felt like unconditional love and acceptance. And then today I saw the same general, the same spaceship, the same control panel. I never see a face. And I remembered being told that someone said that a lot of times we think we're talking to guides or images that we're seeing. We think it's one thing, but it's actually our soul talking to us. And it's taking the form of whatever our mind can easily accept. So apparently I can accept an alien general before I can accept my soul. So today I think I was just connecting to my soul, and it was absolutely lovely. But it also felt too much. One time somebody said to me, "Oh, Sue, don't get so spiritual, your feet can't touch the ground. And today I know what that means. There is a space where it just feels like fantasy land. But that's not what I want. That's not what I want. So letting go of all the past gives me a greater ability to trust the here and now and to trust the spirit, my spirit. And so that's what I was experiencing, was the doorway for trusting is open wider than it has been. And I'm looking forward to where that actually takes me. And it's not a fantasy trip that I'm seeking, so it won't be. And I feel really good about that. So I am complete. And Emma, would you like to go next?
It was peaceful and simple. I was given a few pieces of personal information that didn't seem relevant to the group, and I asked if there was anything for the group, and they said that right now we're not really doing cohesive community work, that this is really more personal journeys, and that we're also diverse in our methods and our goals, that community messages wouldn't necessarily be useful, except that that's probably a community message. And then I started feeling really dizzy and I couldn't keep my eyes open, so I just closed my eyes and waited for everybody to come back. And I will call on Arlie.
Wow, those were very interesting. And Sue, I just got this huge grin on my face about that unconditional love and just. So what I was shown is that the animal kingdom is shifting. There's an upheaval going on right now. Their usual routines and patterns are changing, and they're moving around more, which means that we're going to be seeing more animals that are usually out at night. We're going to see them in the day, and during the daytime, we're going to see animals that we usually don't see at all. And the reason they're moving in their limited areas, I don't mean that like elephants are coming to California, big migration. They're adding their energy where it can be used and needed. They ask that we let them be as they go where they feel called to be. And somehow bird song is tying all this energy together, but they're doing this as something that we as energy workers and healers can use, making it easier to tap into animal kingdom energy somehow. So that's what I got, that we just, yeah, that's it. And I would like to call on Angelique.
Thank you, Arlie, for the beautiful animal kingdom sharing. What I got is at first nothing, just nothing and nothing. There was nothing. And then I came into, it was said this is all about walking each one's path in beauty. And I not only saw the ones I placed in the circle, but there were many of them. And there was a lot of grieving, but there was also a lot of healing. And it was deeply about a deep wound, like a mother wound, but from the Mother Earth. And the ones who were in this healing process didn't understand what for they were grieving. There was a deep grieving. And then I see flowers all around and the fragrance of roses surrounding these ones, these beings. And bringing these flowers were bringing offerings of healing energies to their hearts. And I see a dark and vast mist coming out of the back side of the beings, and it's coming upwards. And I hear saying deep six, and this energy is changing and getting lighter. And then I see coming out of the mouth like vomiting, like throwing up. If words may not be said, may not be heard, and may not be said. So also here is said deep six, and his energy is changing. And I hear, I see the face of the persons changing, and part of the face is becoming softer and lighter and more color coming into it. And the other part is still waiting for I don't know what. I just didn't get the picture right. But so it's like these parts are split in two, and one part is waiting and one part is already in the healing process. Then the flow of flowers is coming from all sides, and it's like a sea of love and color. And the persons are starting to cry softly, and they feel they are healing. And the energy is like a blessing. And the roses are surrounding the hearts of these beings. And all colors of pink are surrounding them. And this energy is just light and coming, which is coming through. And that's it. I'm complete. So I go to Cinda.
Beautiful. I'll sit with it for a while. I do like that. It's all being surrounded in pink with the light coming through. It's beautiful, Angelique. So I also had nothing come, and it felt really good to just close my eyes and rest. And then I remembered that, because seriously, I had forgotten that tomorrow I'm having a biopsy done on my thyroid. And I went, oh crap, well, why don't I focus on that? And all of a sudden I just felt this whole fire take form, this heat take form, like whatever residual, anything there is, to just burn off. And it's fascinating. And I just went, wow, all right, thank you for that. That was beautiful. But primarily I just really just rested, and it was a lovely place to be in the energy of all of you. So thank you. And I'll call on spirit.
I smile every time you say my name, Cinda. Thank you. Some of you all too, but thank you. That just made me smile and took me out of trance. Thank you. My journey, thank you, Emma, for the way you started it. My journey was a personal journey, so that message was for me from the collective. And it's funny because I try to, every time I come into a class with Sharon, center myself, meditate. Now I have all these fun singing bowls, so I let them take me to a certain place. And before I came on, I was taking, I got a big revelation before I came on class. And then when we went into our journey, I heard myself saying peace, love, and happiness and healing over and over again to the ether. And then after a while of saying it like 6 times, I just felt my team there and me just telling them thank you. Because I believe in some sense of obedience when it comes to our divine guidance. And it's only a miracle by me following that voice that I am here. Like even when I went to they were reminding me this while I was saying thank you. Even when I just went to California in April for my anniversary, they reminded me cold in my face that you are a miracle, that even that is one of my alter egos, because I am a multifaceted woman, and that's a lot of where my power is, and that's what helps me be relatable to so many different people because I can wear so many different hats. But they were just reminding me how, I mean, people try to destroy me, take me out, and not only just kill my spirit, but just take me out. And not only it's not enough to, some people, it might have had these things happen to them and they're surviving, but to have those things happen to you and to be able to evolve, that's a different story, because evolution is not all. So they were just reminding me, and I just kept surrendering them and just saying, thank you, thank you. And as I was saying that thank you and just reminded of my safe passage, it just makes me want to be a beacon of so many more. Now, maybe I'm out of a game of being taking me out physically, but I'm still in a game where people are still trying to take me out spiritually and say that I'm not enough. And it just, the more I said thank you, is the more they cover me and help me, and like a good fire, that fire Sharon says, or that to let you know that, no, I'm enough. You get out of here. You are not welcome. Like it's like to speak that power in the voice and just to feel them holding me, and it just fed my mission even more. And it made me start thinking of what Kelly said. And like when I dress, it's what the divine tells me. Sometimes I figure out why they told me to dress that way. Sometimes I don't. But it's always, everything that I do is intentional and it's divine guidance. So it's interesting that as Kelly brought up, she was feeling this ancient Egypt energy, and I have this on. And then we know that ancient Egypt was a society that was basically destroyed and conquered. So that's probably why, another reason why I went on that physical journey and mental journey as well. But it was just so profound, and to be in a sacred container and just to feel this fire, a good fire of enough to burn away all the impurities that are here in this world, to transmute a new energy of peace, love, happiness, and healing for all. And I am complete. I'm going to go back into my fairy princess personality, and I'm going to pass on to, who do I want to pass on to? Can I say Kelly, to hear what you have to say in the Galactics? I know it's interesting. Love you all.
The weekly balloons going on. So I was taken out to the cosmic, and basically what I saw was the weaving of the cosmic web, and the weaving of the cosmic web was catching all the water, all this amazing water. So imagine that spider web that you see in the morning dew, but it's all over the universe, the multiverse, and it's catching this beautiful water. And as the moisture's grabbed, there's a hum, so I can hear the hum, and then the water is vibrating, and then the water droplets are dropping. Boop, boop. So then I'm seeing, oh my gosh, this is going to get me really emotional, so pardon me here, oh my gosh. So then I'm seeing these amazing droplets of water from the universe, the cosmos coming down and hitting the tops of people's heads, all these names of these people that you brought into the space today, and so many more. That's like, whoosh, oh, and I'm just like, I'm feeling into the whoosh, and I can feel this moisture just going all over their bodies, like in this cosmic, and it's like this humming sound drop. So sitting with that, it was just glorious, just listening to the sound and seeing all these people that I know that need, not, I don't know, but I know, right? All these people that I can think of who somebody might bring in. It's like, oh, anyway, that's that. And then, so then I was spun out and just shown this undulation. So I draw on occasion. So this is supposed to be, this is my cosmic dewdrops. And this is supposed to be the, the United States, the landmass. Don't bother with that. So just this undulating energy in the water. And I know that Arlene mentions the animal lives. And so this was the sea creatures going through their own shift as well. But this undulation that's happening within the waters, specifically they're showing me in the Pacific Ocean, but not exactly sure what all this, it wasn't, it was just this undulating energy. Just, I could just see the waves going, you know, it wasn't like a tsunami. It was just this undulation that just up and down. And that's the last thing I saw before I came out. But those glorious, glorious, glorious. Let's see. Who hasn't gone yet? I believe Audrey, have you gone yet? You did. Nope. Okay, Audrey.
Wow. Wow, beautiful. Mine was more personal, but it did include everybody. I was greeted by Divine Mother and Odin and Freya, and they wanted to show me my future, and I was very reluctant and very afraid to. So my grandfather came in, and I took somebody's robe, and I didn't have fear. And they told me that I can trust each and every one of you in this sacred space. And they gave me information that I need to gather somebody to help me once the book comes out. So they were saying, you need this and this and this because you won't be able to do this by yourself. So I didn't even think about that. So I'm like so grateful for that. That was a big oh boy, I didn't even think of that. Okay, so I asked for them to send me someone who would be able to be my rock and support and go through emails and do all of that kind of stuff. And yeah, I guess they're preparing me. I'm complete. Deborah, I think, did you go yet?
Thank you. First, Kelly, when you were describing the water hitting the people and washing off, I just saw so much stuff coming off them. It was like such a blessing to everyone in the circle. So thank you for that. It was really beautiful. So when I closed my eyes and she said, look at your people, and I saw this woman I met in 2010, who is a Peruvian shaman woman. She's one of the Caro Peruvian shaman, you know, little petite, sweet thing. And I had had a session with her. I was taking training, shaman training at the time. And I had a session with her where they do prayers to the divine and stuff. And she was asking me about my parents and stuff. And I said, no, they're dead. I said, well, husband? I'm like, no. And she was like, well, who takes care of you? And I'm like, I do. And she said, oh, we've got to fix that. Well, 3 months later, I met my husband. And I figured she had a lot to do with that, either that or she also had help from my mother and his late wife up in heaven going, you know, work on it. But anyway, So when I was taking the shaman training, I kept getting that I had to take this particular training. And I didn't finish all of it because I got to a point where I remembered where the person who runs it, a past life, where he had come to take the gifts that we had in the with this knowledge and steal it and use it for bad purposes. And I divided it up and sent it to the mountains and the jungles and every place else to hide it. And this was back in 2010. So this woman, she took me to Peru, to Machu Picchu, and there was a circle of all the shamans and all the current living shamans. And they said, it's time. And I'm like, time for what? They said, it's time for you to start doing your stuff again. And they basically gave me back all the gifts that I had spread around back in hundreds and hundreds of years ago, whenever it was. And so, okay, I don't know what it's going to mean or what it's going to look like, but that's what it was. So it was funny when Sharon talked about the women dividing up their gifts, you know, to keep them from the outsiders. And I'm like, yeah, I saw that. I just didn't call them outsiders. I just called them men who, you know, people who didn't want to treat them right with respect and whatever. So that was mine. Is anybody else? Sharon.
Yep. Gifts coming back together. I've seen it too so many times. And it's great to have them coming back together. So mine was definitely related to some deeper things that they're opening up for me. Which is aren't we always grateful for the knowing of the more that we don't know that we need, and we have those that can say, hey Audrey, you're going to need a little help with that book. So it's not just Google that's doing that, which is really, really great. So okay, beautiful, beautiful journeys, wonderful energy. Is there anything else anyone wants to say before we close our circle? There's Emma. Yes, indeed, Emma. Oops, you're muted.
I have something for Arlie. Yesterday, I was scrolling through social media. Oh, I'm gonna wait for her to be off the phone.
Okay.
Sharon, did you share your travel?
I didn't share the travel because it was really personal for learning some things because of what people are up against. It's not everybody.
Okay.
It was more like, you got to learn this. You got to see what's here. It'll be shared at some point, but not today.
So Arlie, I was scrolling through social media and there's a video of a woman on her back deck. It's a lovely little green yard and it opens into the woods, and her baby is on the deck on a blanket and the baby's crying. And all of a sudden she like stands up and stumbles back a little, still with her camera. And there's a deer running up to the steps and stamping her feet like, pick up the darn baby. So that's exactly what I thought of when you shared your journey.
Well, I got one more thing about the journey and the birds. I didn't really understand about the birds. The birds are the network that we can plug into the energy that the animals are bringing most easily. When we hear bird song, or they're the web so that we can access what the animals are trying to bring us in their new, configurations, I don't know, placements. So there's that. But yeah, I love that. I'll have to look for that social media video.
This is something, when we were in New Zealand, the birds, we had an RV, so we were out camping. This was our honeymoon, but we were in the RV. The birds in New Zealand were absolutely stunning. in their song. And we would just sit out and listen because they were so exquisite. And there's something, I mean, we have wonderful birds here, don't get me wrong, but it was different, and it was palpably different for us. And the other thing that came to mind when you were sharing that is there's an old folklore that says the whales chant the song that keeps the earth intact, and the dolphins carry the song from the whales to people. And somehow I get that fits into your animal thing, but there it is.
I'm going to say this, and then Angelique and Sue. In this circle over the last many months, we have had the crystal kingdom come to us and say, stop putting a label on us. We've had the nature kingdom of the trees coming to us and said, stop keeping us limited. Yes, we're being harvested, but that's ability to spread our information. The freedom of nature is what we keep hearing. So here's the animals saying we are going to be free, and we're going to move and do according to what we can do to bring to this change. So it's getting unlocked from what we in our mental state of human beings say everything ought to be. Angelique and then Sue.
Yeah, I'd love to share a little story about the passing of my mom and an animal coming in. It was the last, the day that she was in the room to say goodbye. And I went into the corridor and to her sleeping room, and there was a dove sitting on the cupboard. And the dove just flew in, and it was she was a real bird lover like me. And she was feeding the birds every day. And she had a special one dove coming every day into her kitchen asking for food. And a couple of little crows coming by and just asking for food and waiting to get it. And then this day, it was the day just before she had her burial. And I was just feeling that it was time to close her basket. It was about to close her basket because that was going to happen. And I went into her sleeping room, and there was this dove just flew through the corridor on the cupboard, waiting there, just where her bed used to stay. And then my son came in, he said, Mom, this dove, look at this. And I said, yeah, well, we have to leave her out of the window because otherwise she cannot find the way back. And we opened the window, and she didn't go exactly right away, but Milan, my son, just guided her through, and then she flew very fast, like out of the window. And then I got back into the room, and I saw that my mom changed, and we had to close the coffin. So she was asked and got to really, the dove came to fetch her, to really get her out of the space and into the other realms. And it was beautiful. It's really beautiful. So a dove is a peacekeeper, and she went with peace. So I'd love to share that. Thank you.
It takes forever to unmute my iPad. Once in a while, I get the feeling that the animals are communicating, and rarely am I able to understand it in English. It has happened. So when I was sitting in the yard today, there's 4 chickens. They're just normal chickens, but they were different today. They would come up to me, they would watch me, and they were talking. And then one was talking and the crow was answering. So there was a crow in the tree in the yard, really tall, big tree, and it's at the top. And it only said something after the chicken said something. And so it felt like a conversation was going on, and then the crow left.
Wow.
So I'm going to start asking to understand, because I used to have, oh my God, 30 years ago, we had, between me and my roommate, we had 3 or 4 cats. I can't remember. 3 little kittens because we couldn't choose which one we wanted, so we took 3 home. And those 3, I understood when they were talking to me. So one sat in front of me and said, "If you don't take me, I will die." And the other one said, I called her Yoda. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. It was 30 years ago. But Yoda got really angry at me. I wouldn't let her go out because one of the cats got in front of a busy highway. And one of the cats got killed. And we made the decision, no cats went outside. And Yoda was so angry at me. And she said, "It's my life. It's my life. You don't have the right." So we lost all 3 of the cats because we gave them the freedom to come and go as they wanted to. And all 3 of them got hit by cars. And it was, but to be told it's my life is a pretty big thing because we can do all kinds of things trying to protect, and they don't want the protection necessarily. So anyway, I'm going to start asking to understand what they're saying. Since it happened before, it could happen again. And I was wondering if everybody would be willing to give Sharon, who wants to, their email address so we could connect. We did this 6 months ago, I think it was, and I lost that. But if you would be interested in everybody giving their email address to Sharon so we could have a list, that would be lovely.
I think the easiest way is if there is anyone who wants to opt out, just let me know. Otherwise, I've taken a picture of who's here today, and we'll just say everyone who's here has given it permission. Unless you want to opt out, you can just email me and say opt out, and I'll, and then I think that'll be the easiest way. Is that okay? Which is great.
Sharon, is
Yes.
this group on Slack?
No, this group is not.
Okay.
The only one I have, I have groups, I have set up so I can put more of the groups on Slack, but I wanted to, we done the Galactic year-long group on an app called Slack that you can email back and forth directly to one another, and I wanted to see how that worked. But if you wanted to be on Slack, I could send you invitations, definitely.
I mean, that's a way of communicating personally
You can,
and
yeah,
not having to look up all the email addresses that you already lost.
yeah, you can, in Slack, you can email as a group to the group, or you can have a conversation with someone in the group. So what I would do is just send an invite to all of you. It would be the Sacred Ground Circle Sisters. So SGC Sisters, that's what this group would be. And that would be just this group, anybody in this group. And some of them aren't here, so I would invite them too. And that might be the easiest way. So I'll do that. Is that okay with everyone? I just send you an invite, and that way you opt in or you don't opt in. And then you've got it in that application called Slack.
And I'll try and be here as much as I can the next 3 weeks, but I don't know exactly where we're going to be and what communication systems I have. And
We'll be watching for your adventures, Deborah.
there'll be good ones.
I know that will be.
I wanted to add something about animal communication. Sue, when your cats tell you, "This is my life," you get to make demands right back because your heart's involved and you love them. You can say, "This may be your life, but you're going to now get a lesson in cars, a lesson in road crossing, a lesson in keeping yourself safe, and get as complicated as you want. If you take this velocity by this and the proportion and knit. Explain to them about vet bills. Tell them anything that you have to tell them. It's 2 ways when you love something. It's 2 ways. And you don't have to give up to extortion, just like a 2-year-old who says, "It's my life, I'm going to go run in the street." Bullshit.
Yeah, that's really true, Arlie. It does become a 2-way conversation. so many times we've not understood that. So that'll be fun. We'll see what happens to animals in our lives. I guess that would hold true for crystals, stones, waters, air, fire, and trees, and beyond, and people. People too. Okay, so just close our eyes, give thanks for this circle, for the energies that have been here, for the beings who have been here, for what we have been shown, we will be continue to be shown. And what we want to do is send this vortex of sacred ground, of guardian circle, of being led to highest and best of our divine family's agenda of good out like dew on every particle within our earth world. With that, our circle is closed for this week, and we will see you next Monday, all those of you who can be here. So blessings, everyone. Bye. Love you.
Bye,
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.
as
Bye.
always, thank you.